The roguelite RPG is just as varied and increasingly approachable a genre as any other games. Its popularity has erupted over the last decade to the point where a new promising and often hard-as-nails roguelike game now seems to land every other week.
This video is brought to you by Answerly, a question platform that pays you for adding high-quality answers on different questions. The users are rewarded in Answerly tokens, which they can easily convert into dollars or any other cryptocurrency by using one of the exchanges mentioned in the description.
Hello and welcome to our YouTube channel. In today's video, we will be talking about the top 10 best upcoming roguelite RPG indie games of 2022. That is sure to keep you coming back for more. If you're new here, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell to get the updates whenever we post. The finest roguelikes retain their popularity for years after release, so you should expect to see a healthy mix of classics and newcomers among our picks. And while roguelike games are renowned for their hardcore nature, we continue to see developers attempt to open the genre up to new players and create novel hybrids like strategy roguelikes, shooter roguelikes, and card battler roguelikes. So without further ado, here are the top 10 best upcoming roguelite indie games for you to play over and over again. The Binding of Isaac. The Binding of Isaac is a top-down dungeon crawler game. The game's plot is very loosely inspired by the biblical story of the same name. Isaac, a child, and his mother live in a small house on a hill, both happily keeping to themselves, with Isaac drawing pictures and playing with his toys, and his mother watching Christian broadcasts on television. Isaac's mother then hears a voice from above, a voice that she believes is that of God himself, stating that her son is corrupted with sin and needs to be saved. It asks her to remove all that is evil from Isaac in an attempt to save him. His mother obliges, taking away his toys, drawings, and even his clothes. FTL Faster Than Light. FTL Faster Than Light is a space-based top-down real-time strategy roguelike game. The player controls a spacecraft capable of traveling faster than light, FTL. It belongs to the Galactic Federation, which is on the verge of defeat in a war with an exclusively human and xenophobic rebel faction simply called the Rebellion. The player's crew intercepts a data packet from the rebel fleet containing information that could throw the rebels into disarray and ensure a Federation victory. The goal is to reach Federation headquarters waiting several space sectors away, while avoiding destruction from hostile ships or by pursuing rebel fleet. Into the Breach. Into the Breach is set in the far future where humanity fights against an army of giant monsters collectively called the Vek. To combat them, the player controls soldiers that operate giant mechs that can be equipped with a variety of weapons, armor, and other equipment. In combat, the player controls 3 different mechs against the Vek, and will be given an objective for that map along with a fixed number of turns to complete that objective. The principal goal for any map is to protect civilian structures which support the power grid that supports the mechs, but additional objectives may be presented. Crypt of the Necrodancer. Crypt of the Necrodancer is a top-down 2D roguelike rhythm game in which the player controls one of a selection of characters to explore several levels of an underground dungeon that are procedurally generated. In the main game, the player controls Cadence, the daughter of a famed treasure hunter who has gone missing. In searching for him, she falls into a crypt controlled by the Necrodancer, who steals Cadence's heart and forces her to challenge his minions to retrieve it. She is forced to fight through the crypt's dungeons with her actions tied to the beat of the music and her heart, so as to stay alive and defeat the Necrodancer. Enter the Gungeon. Enter the Gungeon is a bullet hell roguelike game. The player chooses one of the 4 protagonists named the Marine, Convict, Pilot, and Hunter, all of whom have different special abilities, such as calling for support or lockpicking chests. While the player descends the Gungeon, they are set to go through multiple floors, each with a random number of rooms in it. Each room contains a set of enemies which vary in strength, endurance, and attack behavior, where the attack can range from simple, straightforward shots to a complicated mixture of shots fired at the same time. As the player progresses through multiple playthroughs, they may encounter non-player characters that can be rescued from the Gungeon. Once rescued, these characters take residence at the Breach, a safe level above the Gungeon, and where the player, prior to starting a new playthrough, can spend a type of in-game currency earned from boss fights to permanently unlock special items that will then have a chance of appearing within the Gungeon for all subsequent playthroughs. Darkest Dungeon 2. Darkest Dungeon 2 is a roguelike road trip of the damned. Form a party, equip your stagecoach, and set off across a decaying landscape in a last-gasp attempt to avert the apocalypse. The greatest dangers you face, however, may come from within. Darkest Dungeon 2 takes place in a single wagon as it travels through a handful of hostile territories before landing at the occasional inn to regroup. Instead of hundreds of hours spent building up a town and juggling dozens of heroes, as in Darkest Dungeon 1, a campaign takes over the course of 5 or 6 hours, with 5 total campaigns promised in the interface. Risk of Rain 2. Risk of Rain 2 is a roguelite third-person shooter. Players control a survivor who is stranded on an alien planet. To survive, they navigate through various environments, killing monsters and looting chests to collect items that boost their offensive and defensive capabilities. Over time, the game's difficulty increases, spawning more powerful and dangerous creatures. The game supports up to 4 players in online multiplayer. On each level, the goal is to locate a teleporter, randomly located on the level. Once activated, the players must defend themselves from an onslaught of aliens, including bosses, until the teleporter is fully active. Killing aliens gains experience and currency, which can be used to open chests that randomly drop items on the level. These collectible items offer a wide range of boosts to the players, carrying them and provide both synergistic effects and the potential to stack their effects if multiple copies of the same items are acquired. However, the strength, difficulty, and number of aliens increase every few minutes, thus making the game harder and longer the player stays on any level. Dead Cells. Dead Cells is described as a Roguevania, a combination of procedurally generated roguelike games and action exploration-based Metroidvania games. The player controls a mass of cells that occupy and control the body of a deceased prisoner at the start of each game. As they explore a series of dungeons and fight the creatures within, they collect weapons, skins, abilities, power-ups, and money. Enemies will sometimes drop cells when defeated, which can be used to obtain permanent power-ups, such as additional health potions or items that can be bought or found in later runs. The game's combat is compared to the Souls series with difficult enemies, with certain behaviors the player can learn, and where frequent player character death is a fundamental part of the game. Hades. Hades is a roguelike action dungeon crawler. The player takes the role of Zagreus, the prince of the underworld who is trying to escape the realm to get away from his dispassionate father, Hades, and reach Mount Olympus. His quest is supported by the other Olympians who granted him gifts to help fight the beings that protect the exit from the underworld. He is also helped on his quest by notorious residents of the underworld such as Sisyphus, Eurydice, or Patroclus. The game is presented in an isometric view with the player in control of Zagreus. The players start a run through of the game by trying to fight their way through a number of rooms. The rooms are drawn from a pool of predetermined layouts, but their order and the enemies that appear randomly are determined with a hack-and-slash combat system. Outlier 2022. Outlier is a roguelite adventure VR game featuring FPS and RPG elements. Players can control and mix various abilities, utilize an array of weapons, and explore breathtaking worlds, making for a diverse and progressive gameplay experience. You are a captain of one of the last human arcs, in search of a new home for humanity. Your vessel was sucked into a black hole. From your position beyond space and time, you witness an unknown race devastating what looks like a habitable solar system. The unknown physics of the black hole endow you with mysterious powers and allow you to exist in parallel worlds. Live, die, and repeat in your quest to conquer at least one of these worlds in the name of mankind. Well, there you have it, the top 10 roguelite games that you'll be playing for a long time. What do you think about roguelites in general? Let us know your thoughts down in the comment section below.
If you like this video, make sure to smash the like button and subscribe to this channel. To learn more about Answerly and Answerly tokens, check out the links in the description.